Hi, I'm Skinny Cheeks, and today I'll be going over the Stamina Templar for the Harrowstorm DLC. I put out a video about a month ago, and if you already watched that, not much has changed other than the Aegis color set getting a nerf, but I wanted to have a video with everything in one place that is up to date for Harrowstorm. Barring any weird mid-patch changes, this build should be good for the entirety of the DLC. Stamina Templar is one of the strongest DPS classes in the game right now and adds great group utility with Minor Fracture and Breach from Power of the Light and a huge AoE group heal with Ritual of Retribution. It has a simple and effective rotation and is a great class for both beginners and vets of the game. In this video I'll go over the race in Mundus, gear, skills, rotation, CP, and end the video with a parse on the 21 million raid dummy. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. I was able to hit 95.2k with this setup, so that puts Stamina Templars right at the top of the DPS alongside of Necros. For the race, we're going to go with Orc. Orc is the strongest PvE DPS race, followed closely by Dark Elf, and then in third is Khajiit. Redguard and Wood Elf are both decent DPS options as well, with the best sustain, and then Imperial is also about the same DPS as Redguard and Wood Elf, but it has a higher health pool. For the Mundus, we're going with the Shadow, and then for Vampirism, it's not absolutely necessary, but it is nice for a little added sustain. For the gear, I'm using 2 Selines, 5-piece Deadly Strike with an Axe Nirnhound and Dagger sharpened, and then a 5-piece Reliquin on the body with all Bloodthirsty Jewels, using Damage Health Poisons, and the Maelstrom's Bow with an infused weapon damage enchant. One big change this patch for Stamplar is the change to the Twin Blade and Blunt passive. Now that it procs the axe bleeds off of any melee damage, Dagger Axe is definitely the way to go over Dagger. I did some testing without the poisons, just using a poison damage enchant and a disease enchant. Because we don't run a lot into Thaumaturge with this build, the damage from the enchants is pretty close to the damage from the poisons. So if you want to save a little money, it's only about a maybe 200 to 300 DPS difference. Stamina Templar is a little bit unique with getting such good results from Deadly Strike, and the reason for that is you get so much damage from your biting jabs. See here, it's like 31% of my DPS, so with Deadly boosting that skill plus all of my other physical based dots, it's boosting about 62% of my damage. So I'm getting a 20% boost pretty much all of the time on about 62% of my damage. Whereas with Locustes, you have a 15% damage boost to everything as long as you have a synergy to activate. So in order for Locustes to beat out Deadly Strike, you do need about an 80% uptime on it. And the max uptime on the 21 million trial dummy is about 68 to 70%. That's why you see Deadly performing a little better there. So if you do run with a group that gives a lot of synergies and you can get higher than that 80% uptime, then Locustes will be the better option for you. And then for fights where you can't build up your Reliquin stacks very well, using Deadly Strike with Locustes together is a really strong option. And I haven't been able to put together a full set to test on live yet, but I think Aegis Collar plus Locustes is going to be a really nice option for trash. And again, if you're not getting very good uptimes on Locustes, you can run Deadly in place of that. One more thing I wanted to note about the gear. In a trial, Marsalak should outperform Selene due to additional negative effects being on the enemy with a group of 12. The problem with using it on a Templar is that bash weaving on jabs is extremely difficult since you have a less than 0.1 second window to do it without slowing down your rotation. I still think it's worth it to use it most of the time, just bashing on Power of the Light, Trap, Hail, and Ritual as long as you can sustain it. For the skills, we're using Camo Hunter, Barbed Trap, Power of the Light, Biting Jabs, Ring of Preservation, and Dawnbreaker. On the back bar, Camo Hunter, Endless Hail, Ritual of Retribution, Restoring Focus, Ring of Preservation, and Empowering Sweep. The Fighter's Guild abilities are flex spots, so in a raid, if you needed some more sustain, you could slot something like Repentance, or Consuming Trap, or Vigor if you need an additional heal. The reason we don't slot an Execute is on Templar, we have the Burning Light passive. And as you can see, Burning Light on the Parse did about 9k on its own, plus the really high damage from jabs. So an ability like Whirling Blades isn't going to beat out the combo of those until really low into the health threshold. And it seems like that threshold is low enough that just having the additional weapon damage from your Fighter's Guild abilities makes your overall DPS a little higher. People have also asked why I run Ritual of Retribution over Poison Injection. The damage from Ritual is a little bit lower than Poison Injection, but Ritual is also an AoE damage ability, and it's an AoE heal as well. And with Stamina Templars, with how high their weapon damage gets, this ability heals for insane amounts in raid. It's also really nice on sustain. I find that without using this ability on the 21 million dummy, I have to cast my Restoring Focus a few more times. So if I use this, then I only need to open up with Restoring Focus and I can sustain through the whole parse. For the rotation, we have one of the more simple rotations in the game. It's just Hail and Ritual, and then Power of the Light, followed by 5 jabs, and then another Power of the Light, followed by 5 jabs. Then you'll replace one of the jabs with Trap whenever it's about to run out, or your Dawnbreaker when your ult is ready. For the CP, I'm running 66 Master at Arms, 13 Thaumaturge, 66 Precise Strikes, 61 Piercing, 64 Mighty. That's going to be the end of this guide. Thank you so much for watching. Here's a parse on the 21 million raid dummy. Bye.